Technoblade, where have you been all this time? Well, you see, I've been farming potatoes in Skyblock. It all started months ago. I just got in a set of superior armor and wanted hot potato books to upgrade it. I could have just bought some from the auction like a normal person, but if Hypixel has taught me anything, it's that if you have a problem, the answer is slavery. At this point I had enough potatoes for my armor. I could have stopped. I could have put an end to this, but I thought, no. No, what if I went even further? You can check your rank in each individual collection, and I was already top 50 in potatoes. I decided at that moment that I was going to be the #1 potato farmer in Skyblock. How hard could it be? I believe minions are important. I mean, they work 24/7, gathering resources even if you never bother to log in, and as such represent the only way to achieve the dream that all Skyblock players share, which is to not have to play anymore. Unfortunately, each minion slot requires exponentially more resources than the last, so I did what any self-respecting Skyblock player would do, and sat in the shop menu buying ice for 30 minutes. I'm having fun. I dropped out of college for this. I finally unlocked the 20-second minion slot. At this point I thought I had first place in the bag. I mean, there's only a couple of solo players that have 23 minion slots, and I figured if anyone went to that much trouble to get more minion slots, they'd probably spend it on a minion that actually makes money, like clay minions. You really think your dreams are gonna go that long without getting crushed by the admins? No. No, you're never seeing that money again. I'm sorry, it's gone. My last hidden weapon was the Farmin' Crystal, which increases the speed of nearby Farmin' minions by 10%. I could only fit 12 minions in that radius, but I thought, you know what? Whatever. I'll just make a second Farm Crystal. Here we go! Oh, okay. No, I'm glad Skyblock tells you that after you make a second crystal. I mean, it's not like you could just tell me that after I make the first crystal! Whatever. It's not a total waste of money. At least I can auction. Thank you, Hypixel. And so, after restructuring my farm, the potato pyramid was complete, yielding 309,000 potatoes per day. But as an ex-English major, I decided that math wasn't enough to defeat my enemies. I needed to consult the classics. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu says, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. So I decided to do some investigative journalism. I discovered a forum post from September in which a user named I'm a Squid Kid bragged about being ranked #1 in potatoes. By stalking his profile, I found another post weeks later in which he suggested he was now around 7 million potatoes. By putting these two data values on a grid, I could calculate the slope to estimate his average daily potato yield. It wasn't perfect, but it was the best method I could think of to estimate how strong his potato farm was. I mean, it's not like I could just go to his island and look at it. Wait, that worked? No, this can't be. This man made 8 potato 11 minions, and then he painted the Mona Lisa! At this point I fell into despair, all sense of rationality, even the slightest hope of making his money back. This man had thrown them all away to farm potatoes. I had 2 more minion slots than him, but his minions were so high level that he was still making more potatoes than me at 310,000 potatoes per day. But I wasn't even worried about his potato farm. I mean, I still had some minions to upgrade. I was confident I could make a stronger farm. I was worried about his head start. The month I spent farming the Pigman sword, he'd already been farming potatoes. According to my calculations, he was already 7.5 million potatoes ahead of me. Even if all my minions magically became level 11 at that very moment, it would take 107 days to catch up. I can't go that long without uploading. My fans will murder me. So was that it? Was my quest to become the #1 potato farmer in Skyblock destined to end in failure? No, I refused. The sunk cost fallacy wouldn't allow it. If I wanted to defeat a man that had descended into potato madness, I would have to take his insanity and triple it. It was at this moment I spoke words that had never been uttered in the history of Skyblock. I should get minion expanders, but with the Slayer update they added a hidden attribute to minion expanders which buff minion speed by 5%, which is still garbage. Diamond spreading gives like 5 times the value, and I didn't have enough space to put both of them in my minions. But unfortunately, diamond spreading only gives diamonds. If I wanted to become #1, I'd have to sacrifice all that free money for 5% more potatoes. So I built the Potato Dome! Boasting 5 floors, the Potato Dome could fit all 22 expanded minions. And after I'd finished upgrading the rest of them to level 9, the Potato Dome could now produce 337,000 potatoes per day. But what more could I do? Farm potatoes by hand? I actually did for like an hour. It made a tiny dent. Sure, it would have worked eventually, but come on, is mindlessly repeating the same task for hundreds of hours really what Skyblock's all about? Okay, yeah, pretty much, but I wasn't about to do that, man. When I said 100 hours, I was not kidding. And yet, as time went on, it began to seem like that was truly the only way. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Sun Tzu. I'd done it. I discovered a critical flaw with Squid Kid's potato farm. His minions were too close together. Now, with any other kind of minion, that wouldn't have mattered at all, but potato minions are unique. When they're too close together, they'll start trying to plant in spots the other minions already planted and get stuck in an infinite loop, dragging down the overall farm's potato output by as much as 90%. The reason he hadn't noticed this and was still first place in potatoes is because this only happens when someone is online and on the island, because otherwise Skyblock just runs a calculation to guess how many resources your minions would have made while you were offline. Anyways, he left the door to his AFK machine open, so I left my alt in there. Welcome to the real world, Squid Kid. But that's not all. The other day I was just minding my business and then... why is he there? And so, the days went by. Every day I'd log in and AFK on Squid Kid's island with my alt, while my minions burned through hamster wheels, quickly bringing me into the potato top 10. I was finally making good progress, until one day, when I went to AFK on his island again. Oh god, he's online. What do you want? Why do you keep doing this? I just wanted to check on the Last Supper, man. You AFK'd on my island for 12 hours! It was a good painting! I figured Squid Kid would find it a little bit suspicious if the same guy was AFK at his island every day, so I got a second account. And then I left them both in there. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. What? Why? Why are you guys here? 3.9 mil for 26. You think that's bad? 11 million! I could see someone bidding 7 million on a stack of enchanted baked potatoes. 8 million? I could understand that. 11 million? Deranged psychopath. There's no justification. Send this man to prison. I had to sell everything so that I could invest it in potatoes, man. I had to sell my young dragon armor, my rare cake collection, massively overinflated Halloween items. I had to mortgage my house. It's crazy out there. If I put this on the auction, I would make Dan TDM's 15 mil water bottle look like tap water. He left a sign for me, whitelisted. What do you want from me? I'm just ruining Squid Kid's whole life. He's traumatized. The Catalyst. The Catalyst is the strongest fuel source in the game, tripling your minion output, but they only last for 3 hours. Fortunately, I had a couple. With the power of Catalyst, my potato output skyrocketed, and I put that all back into leveling up my minions. And in a matter of days, I had 22 Potato 11 minions producing 893,000 potatoes per day. I don't make hot potato books, I make hot potato libraries. Originally, I thought I'd have to go bankrupt buying catalysts if I wanted to catch up to Squid Kid, but I actually discovered that catalysts are amazing. I can buy the materials to make one for like 10,000 coins on the auction, and then each of them makes 14,000 coins in potatoes. This is a miracle. It's free money. So every day I sold hot potato books, and then I bought more crystals. And then I sold more hot potato books, and then I bought more crystals. And that's the story of how I made infinite money. Well, not really, because you can only use so many per day, but I made a lot, and now I was ranked 3 in potatoes. I did some more investigative journalism and found the guy ranked number 2 in potatoes. I'm gonna give you guys 3 guesses as to who left a funny rating on his post. Squid Kid! Oh, this is a joke. This is pathetic. Only 18 minion slots. This is just sad. I've seen Irish famines with more potatoes than this farm. You might get away with this farm in some garbage vegetable like carrots, but potatoes? How dare you? Against a farm like that, I easily took rank number 2. It seemed like I was only 1 step away from my potato dreams, and yet Squid Kid had been so dominant on the potato leaderboards that he was still 3 million potatoes ahead. But with Catalyst, such a lead could be destroyed in a matter of days. Still, to be safe, I kept AFKing on his island, until one day. I checked my alt's window for a moment, and the island was full. 2 guys I'd never heard of before had called the police on Squid Kid and brought a helper to investigate him. Who called the police? Whitelisted. Are you Squid Kid's alt? No, I just AFK here a lot. As a hobby. I'm so suspicious. He doesn't believe me at all. I'm getting banned. They'd been investigating while Squid Kid was offline. I met him later that day and decided to warn him. Squid, I know we've had our differences, but the police are after you, man. I saw a helper. I saw a helper squid. There were 2 dudes, Squid. They came to your island with the helper. They were snitching. I don't know why. I need names. Okay, let me get my screenshots. You gotta be careful, man. The snitches be everywhere. Anyways, I'm gonna go AFK now. Just act natural. Just and I'm gone. It seemed strange to be helping my #1 enemy, but his sheer dedication to farming potatoes had earned my respect. I had to give him help from one potato brother to another. Also, I'm deeply scared of him. Did you see what he said when I told him the names? Names noted. That is serial killer talk. We ain't gonna be hearing from those 2 guys ever again. He even put a billboard on his island, #1 in potatoes. But why would he suspect? Just a few days ago, he'd seen proof on the forums that he was millions in the lead. The poor fool had no idea what was coming. Has it updated? It hasn't updated. Alright, I'm going to the hub. Has it updated? Yes! #1 in potatoes! To celebrate, I took my 2 alts and my main account, and then I AFK'd on all 3 of them! I think at this point Squid Kid knew that the alts were mine, but he was so confused. Why? Why had Technoblade been AFKing on his island for weeks? He was so confused that he didn't even realize that his potato leaderboard spot had already been taken, so I went to confront him myself one final time. What do you want? Why are you doing this? Your potato rank 1 spot is now mine. He's checking. He's checking. How? For years, my machinations lay undetected. This is all I have. Squid, I found a problem with your island. A critical flaw. Get over here. Over here! Squid, get over here. This sign, it has the wrong number. Pretty bad week for Squid Kid overall, I'd say. First he got arrested, and then I cyberbullied him, but it had to be done. And let me just say, there is no chance of him catching up. I even got 23 minion slots just to bury any hope he had. This spot is mine, and that's the story of how I became #1 on the potato leaderboards, and we lived happily ever after. All the loose ends finally tied together. Well, except for one thing. Oh god, there's another one. There's another Jerry. And he's staring right at me. There's another one. There's a Jerry in the water. No. There's another one out there. I don't understand. What do you want? What do you want? There's another Jerry on the bridge. They've got me surrounded. I don't understand. The other day I was farming potatoes by hand when a man visited my island and asked, why? Didn't you already win the potato war? But no, the potato wars never ended. To understand how things ended up like this, we've got to go back to November. When I dethroned Squid Kid and became the #1 potato farmer in Skyblock, I went to his island and laughed at him for half an hour. Then my co-op members showed up, and we all started laughing at him. It was not a good day for Squid Kid. He updated it! And then I left. Squid warned me that he wasn't giving up on rank #1, but I didn't care. So many people started using potato minions that the price of potatoes dropped 30% in the auction house. My plans to become rich had failed both in-game and in real life, but at least I had my potato rank. But when I visited Squid Kid's island 3 days later, what I found shocked me. He had 23 minion slots. Now, when I made the Great Potato War, some people criticized me for violating Sun Tzu's most basic tenet. Whatever you do, don't reveal all your techniques in a YouTube video. You fool. You moron. But my belief that the potato war was already over hadn't been baseless. Between my 3 extra minion slots, most of Squid's minions not being max level, and the price of catalysts skyrocketing due to needing the same materials as a new quest, Squid Kid would need almost 100 million coins to catch up. I'd seen a new sign on Squid's Island advertising his new guild, so I did what any normal person would do and bought another alt account, and then I infiltrated the guild. But what I found confirmed my worst fears. People were helping Squid Kid. I'd cyberbullied Squid too hard. People had seen the video, felt bad, and gone to his island to hand him the spare items he needed to make more slots, or in some cases just pay him millions of coins, all with the express purpose of defeating Technoblade once and for all. Now I can't complain about other people getting free stuff, but watching tens of millions get given to my arch nemesis by my own viewers, it was a bruh moment. Once more I consulted the wisdom of ancient times. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. I couldn't let Squid learn of my plans, so I boarded up the Potato Dome. I hired goons and swore them to secrecy. I knew Squid would be monitoring my actions, so I started an SMP series to throw him off the trail. And like that, I began my plan. I knew there was only one way to defeat Squid once and for all, by building a farm so powerful it reached the theoretical potato limit. And to do that, I would have to do something no solo player had ever done before. Unlock the 24th minion slot. I paid my goons to start gathering the resources we needed, whether that was by purchasing directly from NPCs or scouring the auction house 24/7. Progress was steady, but we soon encountered an obstacle. Enchanted mud, and it was such a useless item that even if you had the money to pay for it, nobody was selling it on the auction house. I had to go on a manhunt to find someone who was actually using sheep minions so I could trade for it directly. Alright, it took 3 days and over 80 million coins. But we finally got all the materials we need to craft. Just look at this. It's beautiful. It's so organized. These are enough to make 50 unique crafts, and then we'll have 24 minion slots. So we're just gonna speed up the craft in here. We did it, boys! The 24th minion was up, and my farm was now producing 1,067,000 potatoes per day. Unfortunately, the website I used to stock Squid Kid's auction bids revealed that he was already working on it. I had no other choice. I once said that the most useless item in the game is a minion expander, but that was before I learned about the flycatcher. The flycatcher is an upgrade which increased minion speed by 10%, 5% more than the minion expanders I was currently using. Oh, but Technoblade, that sounds great. Wrong. You would not believe how difficult it is to make a flycatcher. To give you guys a quick visual of how many materials we're gonna need some of this, a little bit of this too, some of this, some of that, some of these, and a little bit of that. And if we combine all of that together, we can make one flycatcher. I need 24 of these! I'd been stalking Squid Kid's Twitter, so I knew he was a college student, and it was late November. Exam season. Squid Kid would be at his weakest. We had to get as many flycatchers as we could before winter break. I once more gathered my goons and ordered them to acquire the needed materials. Remember when I flexed on all of you with my chest full of catalysts? Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I was holding back. One of the things I did to raise money was grind candy during spooky festivals, which is how I unlocked the skeleton horse pet, which was a huge flex back in November, and now nobody cares at all. But the important thing about this skeleton horse pet is that there's actually a bug that most people don't know about. The skeleton horse can trample crops on other people's islands. Just kidding, I'd never do something like that. Because I'm a good person. It turns out it's really easy to glitch through doors, so the people visiting my island formed an orderly queue to wait their turn to break into the dome. This community is the worst. Why did he sent me a party invite? Now he's in the guild chat. Pomme de terre. And I've been kicked. The people breaking into the dome have now started a potato cult. I don't know how to feel about this. It ended up taking 5 weeks of constant grinding, but on Christmas Eve we finally had 24 flycatchers. This was largely thanks to this man who used his expert business skills to outsource the work to dozens of Skyblock tryhards, ultimately contributing 3,000 stacks of tarantula webs, for which I paid over 100 million coins. We'd finally done it. We'd created the strongest possible potato farm, producing 1,100,000 129,000 potatoes per day. Unfortunately, Squid's army wasn't slacking off either, and 2 weeks later he too had the strongest theoretical potato farm. Now the only way for him to catch up would be to farm potatoes by hand, and he had already started. I spent 10 hours constructing a gigantic potato farm covering over 21,000 blocks. For the next part of my plan, I went to Pigacle. Yeah, this is mine now.
You just rob it and sell it.
I'll just be taking this. Oh, this is good. I've been pretty broke recently. My farm is finally complete, and it only takes 85 minutes to replant. There was a bug affecting a lot of farming minions. Potato minions were only making 33% the potatoes they were supposed to. Like any normal person, I immediately asked myself, how can I use this information to destroy my enemies? Hey, Squid, notice anything about your minions lately? Yeah? I farmed potatoes for so long that I began to question my sanity. I knew it was bad when one time, after finishing planting potatoes, I took a nap, and when I woke up I had no idea how long I'd been asleep, but when I checked my farm, I instantly knew, these potatoes have been growing for 3.5 hours. Shut up, I don't have a problem. I had to replant this entire field 19 times! Every day I monitored Squid's live streams on Twitch to the point where I amassed 9,000 channel points. I made sure to farm potatoes whenever he was live to demoralize him.
Is he really planting potatoes too? We're gonna go check. This dude has a mental illness.
As time went on, you could begin to hear the hope draining from his voice.
I just can't believe how much he's farming. We need Minecraft Mondays to come back.
At this point, I was pretty confident in winning the potato war, but the problem is I had no idea how large my lead was. I can see my own potato count and what rank I am, but Squid has disabled the API setting that allows other people to see exactly how many potatoes he's at. Little does he know I have spent the last 4 months meticulously updating a spreadsheet of our potato counts, which I did by crawling through his farm and timing each of his minions with the stopwatch every day to calculate his exact potato output. Based on the math, I should be about 22 million potatoes ahead, which would take over 200 hours of farming by hand to catch up. At that point, I thought the potato war was truly over. But everything changed with the pet update. Of course, the main part of the pet update was the pets themselves. I immediately started looking for a pet that would help me win the war. Unfortunately, none of the pets seemed geared towards potato farming. The best option I could find was the rabbit pet, which gave a small boost to your farming experience. A higher farming level gives you a small chance to get extra potatoes when you farm them by hand, so I figured the rabbit pet would probably help me farm potatoes, maybe 1% faster. It could be epic at worst, but we want legendary, please. It turned out Rabbit Pets had a secret third ability that only legendary variants had, which increased the speed of farming minions by up to 30%. And Squid had no idea it existed! I spent so many hours brewing potions that I ended up ranked 4 globally in alchemy. You wanna know what level my rabbit is today? 96. It's not even max. This experience requirement is ridiculous! And in this time, Squid was fishing to level up his epic squid pet. It wasn't until 4 days after the update that he learned about the legendary rabbit and got one of his own. But it was too late, his pet sucks, it's level like 65 or something. Thanks to the rabbit pet, my minions now produce 1,586,000 potatoes per day. It's difficult to calculate exactly what my potato lead is right now because the rabbit pet only works when you're online, but the pet update has definitely pushed it to at least 25 million. Since the war began, I have farmed 158 million potatoes, which in hot potato books is over 6,000. I ain't losing this spot. One last thing I'd like to mention, while I was stalking Squid on my alt, the entire lobby was just piling on him in the chat. They were just hating on him. You see, after the first Potato War video, Squid got 40,000 subscribers in the YouTube rank, and ever since then he's been getting hate because, oh my god, he just got YouTube rank because of Technoblade, it's all luck, he sucks. I just like to take a moment to defend Squid Kid and say it's not all luck. I mean, luck was obviously a big factor, nobody's denying that, but the thing is, most opportunities are created by luck. It takes skill to grasp those opportunities and turn it into success. The original Potato War video would have been so much less funny if Squid wasn't number 1 and it was just some random boring guy. Now I talked to Squid afterwards, he's an adult. He doesn't care at all, but I care, alright? So if you see Squid in a lobby, say something nice to him, compliment his hair or something, because he's been dealing with cringe hate for too long, man. We gotta help him. That being said, if Squid Kid thinks he can take my potato rank, he'd better go farm for 1,000,000 years. It ain't happening, dude. You think I've been insane in this video? Wrong. There's actually so many techniques and strategies that I can't even put in this video because he hasn't discovered them yet. I'm keeping them in reserve. You have no idea. This man's been playing checkers while I've been farming potatoes. He's